Well, I wrote this book in 2013, and his Rich Dad's Prophecy, why the biggest stock market crash in history is still coming. And I said, I'm going to change the title to, is here. This is the biggest crash we'll ever see in our lifetimes. It's called the everything bubble. Everything's going to come down. And that's how you can prepare for it.
Renowned author Robert Kiyosaki has been predicting gloom and doom for some time. Based on recent events, it seems the world is drawing closer to that point. This year alone, nationwide protests have broken out in several countries over various economic issues. Currencies in both developed and developing economies are also hitting multi-year lows, indicating a 2008-style global financial crisis at best. While speaking at a conference recently, Kiyosaki, whose 1997 book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has sold over 32 million copies worldwide, discusses the current state of the global economy, focusing especially on the United States. The renowned author also discusses the bear market, the 2020 election, and the weakness of the new crop of global leaders. We will now take you to Robert Kiyosaki's interview. Please watch, share, and like this video. Also, be sure you drop your reactions and comments in the appropriate section below and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and enjoy the video. Let's dive right in.
Phase one was a bounce. It was called a bear market rally. This baby is going down, I hope, because I'm going to get richer. See, the thing right now is if you're afraid, it's because you got bad advice in your head. You're operating on bad information from your mommy, your daddy, your college professor, your school teachers, whatever it is. I get sexually stimulated thinking about a crash.
Yeah.
Because I'll say it again, the tougher it is, the smarter you've got to be. Well, that's why I brought this book here. I do this because it's proof I said it, if you know what I mean. Because everybody now is a prophet. But I wrote this book in 2013, and his Rich Dad's Prophecy, why the biggest stock market crash in history is still coming. And I said, I'm going to change the title to, is here. So for most people, that's bad news. But as I was saying last night, crashes, everything goes on sale. And you can't get rich at that time. You know, like right now I'm in hog's heaven because Saks is always having sales. So I keep buying stuff I don't really need, but I'm in there shopping. But the most important thing, what this country and the world needs, as you know, Europe's in trouble. They don't think the EU is going to make it. China's in trouble. Japan's in serious trouble. The world's in trouble. And it's in trouble because of a lack of leadership. And as President John Kennedy said, leadership and learning go hand in hand, basically. So when I was invited by Patrick Bet-David, I'm here to serve those who serve. We need more leaders, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here to acknowledge you for being leaders in your own little worlds. But this country sorely lacks leaders. I mean, I'm not Republican or Democrat, but I just can't believe what's going on in our government. I mean, how can they open the borders? How can they cut off the Keystone XL pipeline? How can this guy blame Russia, President blame Ukraine and Russia for our problems? We have food shortages. Sri Lanka, which is one of the richest island nations in the world, is in rioting right now. So we need leaders. So I'm here to support you guys. I'm here to serve those who serve. This is a time for you to become bigger leaders. Because I think people are kind of waking up that maybe it's our leadership that's the problem. And this is your time to become leaders. More people need leaders like you than any other time in history. And I was watching your podcast about how you use social media and YouTube. I mean, my God, ladies and gentlemen, this is your time. But your time is because the country and the world needs real leaders. There's a guy named Jordan Peterson who said, if you think tough men are bad, just see the damage a weak leader can do. We've had weak leaders all over the world right now. So this is your time, and I'm here to support you becoming better leaders. Remember, leadership and education go hand in hand. And there's a lot of people who are not here to learn or not learning because they're probably in college or something, learning nothing.
While speaking at the conference, Kiyosaki also discussed the current state of the political environment in the United States. According to the businessman and author, the 2020 U.S. presidential election started a chain of events with far-reaching consequences that could, if unchecked, plunge the country into a civil war. Listen to the rest of the clip as Kiyosaki speaks about civil wars and depression.
The worst case, which I hope I'm wrong, would be civil war inside America. That's more than a crash, it's a civil war. And my prediction is that Donald Trump and I are good friends, his sons and I are good friends. I went to his son's wedding here at Mar-a-Lago, and he's a leader. If they try and put him in jail, I hope they don't, we'll have a civil war. Because this last election was stolen. I had lunch last Saturday. I had lunch last Saturday with the Secretary of State from West Virginia, and he says, America is watching Arizona, and they want to figure out how we handle it, because they know, he says, it's not fraudulent. It was criminal what they did with the ballots. But again, it was a man named Stalin who said, it's not who votes that counts. It's he who, she who counts the votes. And ladies and gentlemen, we lose the right at the ballot box, we lose our democracy. And that's why this raid on Mar-a-Lago violated the Fourth Amendment. We cannot let this country come apart by these criminals running our government. We need new leaders immediately. So the worst it could get is civil war. I think the best we can express is probably a depression. We're already going into it. As I said last night, you know what we do, we print money to solve our problems. And all that does is increase debt and creates more freeloaders, social welfare. I'm not against social welfare, but don't print money to pay for them. At the same time, our debt escalates. Our debt to GDP right now is 120%. At 90% debt to GDP, we're bankrupt. That means for every dollar we spend, we go deeper in debt right now. So our debt is now in the trillions. I don't know how many trillions it really, I've heard it's 260 trillion. I don't know how they measure it anymore. At the same time, they raise interest rates into a recession. This has never been done before. So that's why I'm saying there's somebody intentionally doing something to bring America down and the world down. And there's a video of Trump speaking to, I think, the United Nations or something, and he's telling the German contingency back in 2018, he says, don't trust the Russians. Don't depend upon the Russians. And now Russia can cut off their power. So there's something really goofy going on. I'm not privileged to find out about it. I want to put some fear into you, because the more dangerous the mission, the better you've got to be. I talked about last night how, you know, when I was at Camp Pendleton preparing to go to Vietnam. I was a Marine helicopter gunship pilot. Our life expectancy was 30 days. 30 days. Now, most people say that's not good. I said, well, it inspired me to become a better pilot.
The famous author has also warned his over 2 million Twitter followers about World War III. Earlier in the week, Kiyosaki tweeted, "Are you ready for World War III? History shows wars are about energy, oil, and coal. Hitler invaded countries like Romania for their oil and coal. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor when the U.S. cut Japan from oil. Was the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipeline the start of World War III?" Kiyosaki is not the only one worried about the possibility of another world war almost 80 years after the Second World War. On Thursday, Russia threatened that the war in Ukraine could escalate into another world war if its neighboring country is admitted to the NATO military alliance. According to Kiyosaki, investors can protect themselves from the coming storm by buying Bitcoin, gold, and silver. One of his tweets reads, "Why millions are to be wiped out? People can see microeconomics. Food and fuel prices rising. They cannot see macroeconomics. Protect yourself from the macro. Buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin." In another tweet, he warned investors to take up a side hustle if they want to overcome the coming storm. The tweet reads, "Gold, silver, Bitcoin may protect your wealth, but not your income. As the economy crashes, stock markets go bust, pensions crash, and unemployment rises. A side hustle may provide you income. Who knows? Your side hustle may grow into the next Amazon or Bitcoin. Take care and be aware." What do you think about Kiyosaki's assessment of the world's economy and the financial markets? Please share your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.